What is up, YouTube? That's here, and today I'm super excited to bring you guys some amazing Appletun gameplay. I know you guys have been asking for a super long time, pretty much since the release of Sword and Shield, for me to use Appletun. This is one of my favorite Pokemon in the new deck so far, and I feel... let me know if this is just me. I feel that, like, even though we have all these new Pokemon in Galar, everyone's still just using old stuff. Everyone's using Rotom, Hippowdon, Mimikyu, all that stuff. Everyone's using all old stuff, and so I'm super excited that a Pokemon like Appletun exists. This Pokemon gets a couple of really good abilities, being ripened, so your berries deal double healing and double effects, but also gets Thick Fat, which we're using today. We're using a Thick Fat Appletun, and if you guys want a hidden ability Appletun, or I guess it even just goes to like the little baby apple thing, so you guys can turn it into Flapple. If you guys want a hidden ability Appletun, hit up the Discord. I'm breeding a couple boxes of them after I'm done recording this, so I'm gonna have a couple boxes to give away throughout the next couple days. So if you guys want a hidden ability Appletun or any of the other Pokemon that we are using in all of the videos, stop by the Discord. Just let me know. I know I've been slacking on giving these things out. I usually breed like a box of each of them, and they just go like that. So tomorrow I'm going to be doing all the breeding. I'm probably going to be streaming and giving these things out on stream and then breeding them. So yeah, guys, hit up the Discord if you guys want a hidden ability Appletun, because it's probably it's a pretty hard Pokemon to get. So yeah, Appletun. What makes this Pokemon special? The Thick Fat ability makes it an absolute tank, cutting fire and ice attacks. It also makes it so this Pokemon, like, sure, it has a bunch of really, like, obvious checks. Like, if anyone has Ferrothorn, this Pokemon's going to be, like, very hard to use. So we're going to surround our team with Pokemon that can, pick apart Ferrothorns. We have, like, Flamethrower on Dragapult. Hippowdon has a decent match against Ferrothorn, depending on if they switch in on it. Gyarados can do okay. Hatterene has Mystical Fire, and Aegislash actually has Substitute, so we can actually beat Ferrothorns almost every single time. I know a lot of people wanting to see Aegislash, a lot of people wanting to see Hatterene. And so you can see this team is like a little bit of a mix of what we were in the other day. I know I took the Corviknight out, I took a couple other Pokemon out, and then I supplemented it with the Appletun. So before we get into the games, I have one more thing I want to talk about. I want to say, first of all, guys, thank you so much for all the support you guys do on my channel. Thank you to all you guys that watch all my videos. You guys have been absolutely amazing, and I love answering all the comments. But the question of the day is, how many of you are planning on entering the upcoming Galar Beginnings tournament, and should I make a video about it? The Galar Beginnings tournament is a free-to-enter online competition, I think, of the week of the December 6th. I do not mind making a video reminding people to sign up for it, telling people how to sign up for it, and, briefly going over what the meta is going to be for that, or the rules, because Gigantamax Pokemon are going to be legal in that format. I know I get a lot of comments of people saying, like, why can't I use my Gmax Pokemon? It's like, well, now's your chance. So if you guys want to make a video on it, briefly giving over my thoughts and different things you guys could be doing to optimize it for your own games, let me know. We're going to get right into the games, though. Hopefully you guys like this team. There is going to be a rental code, so you guys can use it for yourself, and there's also going to be a paste bin that has all of the stats. So if you want to see all my stats, all my items, all of my everything, stick around till the end of the video, or just click the, it's in the description. It's like the second or third line for the team rental code and the paste bin. Guys, thank you for watching. Enjoy the games. Into our first game of the day, we see Hydreigon, Aegislash, Ferrothorn, Arachnoid, Toxtricity, and Como. So double Dragon, Aegislash over the Mimikyu, adding a little bit of an Aegislash mirror match today. Holy moly, this is a really cool game. I think Aegislash is really good in this matchup, but I also do need fire attacks to be able to beat that Ferrothorn. So I think that the Dragapult's a great lead. It only really loses to like Scarf variants of like the Hydreigon or the Haxorus. I can U-turn out against anything else. Let's see. I do think Appletun's good here, even though he has so many dragons. I think those are all special attacker dragons, so I think I might be able to get some Appletun action here. So Dragapult, Appletun. Do I really just want to go Hatterene as my last mon? It's really weak versus Aegislash. I think I'm going to go Hippowdon as my last Pokemon, because I think that I might need a little bit of sustain. And it's really good against the Aegislash and the Toxtricity. So let's try that. So we're going to go Dragapult, Hippowdon, and Appletun. Yeah, we'll let him bring the Aegislash this time. I think Appleton's actually pretty good against Aegislash. So let's see if this works here. Our Appletun set is super fun. We are actually using a hidden ability Appletun today. I know a lot of people want to see the regular ability Ripen, but I think the hidden ability is actually really underrated. Thick Fat makes it so you take reduced damage from fire and ice attacks. So it makes that 4 times weakness, just like a normal weakness, and it makes it so you actually it makes it so you actually resist fire, kind of, because we take normally neutral damage from fire. And speaking about taking big damage from fire, yo, Ferrothorn, are you okay? Are you okay, Pharaoh? We're actually just gonna go for a flamethrower. I don't have to max. If he switches into like Hydreigon or Kommo-o, I can then max and, you know, hit him with a different move. That's the, you know, I am afforded the luxury of taking away my Choice Scarf and hitting with both of these, all these super strong different offensive attacks. Let's see if he's full HP specialty. That's the only way he actually lives this. And he's withdrawing. He's scouting for the flamethrower, which shows he's a smart player. And he's probably going with Kommo or a Hydreigon. There's, oh, Aegislash. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. I will totally flamethrower your Aegislash, Chief. I'll totally flamethrower your Aegislash. And let me actually think about what I want to do. He's going to go lefties. I think he's going to King Shield here. He could totally... Oh, weakness policy. Alright, so he might not King Shield. I actually have to max and drop a Max Flare on this guy. Otherwise, he's going to absolutely end my life. And he could totally King Shield me here. This will go through it, but I think he could Shadow Sneak me here. But that's the reason why we're maxing, is I don't want to get one-shotted by Shadow Sneak. And I think Shadow Sneak would one-shot me if I didn't get this. He actually weakness policy that on purpose. What a cool, great play from a good player. Like, you love seeing it. You love seeing when people, like, actually, you know, use their heads and think of really cool combos. And he knew I was going for Flamethrower. He baited me into Flamethrower so you can get that weakness policy. But I do think boosting this move by 40 more base power, we should be able to get the KO. You can see it right there. He didn't think I was going to go max, right? He was like, well, if he doesn't Dynamax, I'm totally fine. And I'm like, nah, Chief, you got a +2 Aegislash on the board. He probably thought, like, oh, what if I King Shielded? And I was like, if you King Shield, I'll just do it again. You know, like, I have to get the raid boss +2 Aegislash off the board. That Pokemon is absolutely nuts. I would know I'm using one. So Hydreigon comes in, and he's probably thinking he's in a good spot. But, like, I mean, I'm in a pretty good spot, too. I wonder which one of these is stronger, right? So this is a 130, but it's stab. So it goes to 195. So it's almost 400 base power, right? But this is, like, a 120 that hits for 4 times. This is stronger than this one, right? Because 195 and then doubled. But this is 4 times effective because it's double effective. I'm going to go for the Max Flutterby. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it to him. He's probably Scarfed. He's probably going to outspeed me. You can totally Dynamax and make it so we struggle here. But I'm gonna go for this. Max Flutterby. I just want to see what this Dynamax move looks like. Are we still outspeeding? Are we still so good? Looks like he is Dynamaxing, so he would be losing any Choice Scarf potential he does have. So that means we should still we should still outspeed this guy, I think. I think Hydreigon's base 95. And we remember, our EV spread's really weird, but we're like full attack, special attack with our Scarf. But we're not holding our Scarf right now, so we'll see who's faster. I am still faster. This is 4 times effective. Can we get a KO? We can't get a KO, but like, holy moly, that's a thick Hydreigon. That is one thick Hydreigon, and we're gonna get like some sort of stat drop, right? Special attack drop. That's actually perfect. Yo, that's the sauce right there. He's thinking, what special attack drop? And it lets me just hang on by a literal thread. By a thread of health, we're hanging on. And this is pretty good for me. Yo, this is pretty good for me. Yo, you know what they say? One good Max Flutterby deserves another one. I have to assume he's Choice Scarf, so I don't think he can probably block me. I'm just going to go for this. I'm going to go for another one. And if he wants to switch around, we're probably going to be okay. Yeah, if he wants to switch to Ferrothorn, that's totally fine. It's going to waste my last turn here. But when he comes out, I'll be done. And I know that I outspeed him, right? I know that I outspeed him. So I should be able to, you know, rinse, repeat this one up. Easy peasy lemon squeezy right now. We get another special attack drop. Oh, man. And that actually puts him within range for our Flamethrower, even if he's like full HP specialty. So the only thing that sucks is, I mean, I'm gonna go for the Flamethrower. I still think we're in a good spot. Because we still have, like, our whole team, right? I mean, he might switch to the Hydreigon, but I don't think Hydreigon can switch in at half health on 2, like, Flamethrowers boosted in the sun. You can see my team here is still... I still think I have Hippowdon too, right? Hippowdon and Appletun, those aren't great Pokemon to fight a Hydreigon with. But as long as I don't make sure my Dragapult gets... As long as I don't lose my Dragapult, I still think I'm going to be in a good spot. So, Flamethrower coming in super effective up into this Ferrothorn. You'll love to see that big damage. That big damage. And all I gotta do now is just switch out my Dragapults. And I'm gonna win. Because, actually, we'll see. We'll see if I win. He could still totally be El Scarfo. And El Scarfo... No, I should still actually outspeed as long as I just play this correctly. What we're going to do is we're going to switch into Appletun. I think that Appletun might be a good switch in here because if he is choiced and he's going for like a big dark attack, This is not going to do very much damage, and if he ever KOs the Appletun, I can send out my Hippowdon, and I can go for like some sort of like Rock Tomb to make sure he really is not outspeeding me. So let's see, he's going for a Dark Pulse. I knew he was going for a Dark Pulse over the other attack, so like I knew Appletun was a safe switch in. Look at that bulk! Yo, Appletun! Yo, I'm assuming you're either choiced or spexed, and I just ate that damage like an absolute champion. We're going to pop a Leech Seed up right here, and we're just going to chill. We're just going to chill out. Dark Pulse, yeah. You see, he's not switching his attack, which means he's totally choiced. He can flinch me here, but we have the Citrus Berry to get us out of trouble. I know a lot of people were talking about how they want to see, like, the Ripen Appletun, and I think just Thick Fat Appleton's, like, really, really good. We go for a Leech Seed here, and now all we have to do is just sit back, pop Recover. Once we're at full, we can go for a Recycle, get the Citrus Berry back. Like, who needs Ripen when you have the added ability of they have to respect your Ripen, so you can also have Thick Fat, so it's like really, really cool. From here, we just got to not get flinched for a few turns, and we're going to be able to take it and get that absolute wall on with Appletun. Like, look at this, look how thick this Pokemon is. There's a flinch, but it's okay. It's okay, we got that Leech Seed ticking. Time is ticking, and one Apple Boy. I know a lot of people actually have been asking for Appletun, so I'm super happy to bring you guys this content. But I do know that, a lot of people want to see Falapple too, so I plan on breeding Falapples as well. So if you guys have any cool Falapple sets, leave those in the comments, as well as any cool Appletun sets. If you really want to see Ripen Appletun, I have a Ripen Appletun, so I can totally make that work. It looks like he ran, but can you blame him? He got absolutely walled by a Pokemon I should not have brought in that matchup. Like, he had Ferrothorn, he had all those cool Pokemon, and I'm like, nah fam, Appletun with the perfect special wall. You'll love to see it. Going up into our second game, we see 3 starters with Gengar, Haxorus, Togekiss. I really like this team. You know, I feel we fought so many teams that are like Mimikyu Dragapult, Mimikyu everything, Mimikyu Ferrothor, Mimikyu Rotom. It's really cool to see people still taking the time to experiment. Like, I love seeing starters. I think Gengar, Haxorus, Togekiss are Pokemon that all deserve more play. So I have no clue how good this guy's team is. I mean, his name is Burritango. I have no clue how good Burritango is, but I can commend them on their ability to, mess with Pokemon that aren't just boring to see. I mean, even me, I'm playing boring. I have a Hippowdon and an Aegislash. I'm being pretty boring. So this guy is way cooler than me, but it does not matter because we're going to Appletun him into the ground. Let's see. I need to lead with something that can U-turn into my Appletun, so I do think that probably Dragapult. Actually, we're just going to go Hippowdon. I think we're going to go Hippowdon. I actually want rocks here very bad. We're going to go Hippowdon, we're going to go Appletun, and we're going to go Dragapult. One of these days, we're going to use this Hatterene. Just, today is not that day. I mean, I probably could have brought it in this game, but I still think that, like, Hatterene deserves its own video. I don't want to, like, try and splice Hatterene in with, like, an Appletun video. That's a cool looking card. Looks like he's reaching for the sword. Did you see that? Yo, this guy, Burritango has the swag, he has the card, he has the cool team. He's leading Gengar, which means if I would have led Appletun, I would have been in for a bad time. This is actually really good for me. Like, you love to see this type of lead. You can totally go for a Will-O-Wisp. I will eat this Will-O-Wisp like a champion. I think I'm actually just going to set rocks. I could go for a Rock Tomb, but I think I'm actually going to set Stealth Rocks this turn because I do think that those starter Pokemon, like even Inteleon coming in, taking rocks, maybe a Tick of Life Orb, and then after that, a couple ticks of Sandstorm, can get KO'd by like a Revenge KO by my Dragapult. So it really sucks he got that much damage there, but we did get our rocks off. That's a lot of damage. Are you spexed? Chief, are you else spexed? Can I expect you to take that big damage? I don't think he's scarfed. He did get a special D-Rep, so I do have to leave. I think he's spexed, and so we're going to showcase the bulk of Appletun. Like, that wasn't a crit, right? I was looking at other stuff, and maybe I didn't see the crit. Let's see how much damage his Shadow Ball does, though. Let's see how much damage what I assume is Specs Gengar Shadow Ball does. Sludge Bomb would absolutely end our career right now, but that looks like it could be Specs, right? Because that's way too strong. That's way too strong. I mean, I know Gengar is like an absolute champion, but like that's pretty freaking strong. It's okay though. We're just gonna go for a Leech Seed up. I'm thinking it's Specs. Like I'm thinking Sludge Wave. It's not Specs. He must just be modest, but very very strong showing. Gengar ain't no slouch. A lot of you guys always ask me, I see you Chandelure all the time. Why don't you try Gengar? And it's like, I could. Like Gengar's really good. Like case in point, it's giving me a lot of problems right now. We're gonna lose our Appletun, but it's okay. I think Dragapult's gonna be able to come in, and we know that he's not choice scarfed right now. I just wonder what item he's holding. Maybe at the end of the game, we'll check the Gengar, because I'm very curious to see what he's holding. We're just going to go for a Shadow Ball. We do still KO Gengar, because like I said, we're using Scarf Dragapult, and we have that full special attack in... Full special attack and full attack with a Choice Scarf to supplement it. So we're going to be able to KO the Gengar. And right now, he knows absolutely nothing about our set other than we're special. So what this is doing is this is baiting him into bringing in physical Pokemon. And so hopefully we can come in. If he brings like Rillaboom, I'm going to slam in. Well, I'll probably still slam in a Flamethrower. But you get the idea. If he brings in Cinderace or Inteleon, I will slam in that Dragon Darts. And I will just absolutely get in there. Haxorus, same thing here. I could totally slam in a Max Wormwind. That might be his Scarf. If he is Scarfed, like, I outspeed this Pokemon anyways. Even when I lose my Scarf, I still outspeed it. But I think he's Scarfed. I wonder if he's gonna just go for, like... He's probably gonna Dynamax this turn. Yeah, I got Dynamax him. God, I gotta do it to him, chat. Yeah, we got a Max Wormwind. I gotta lose my Scarf. I can't go for Shadow Ball here. I probably should have just went with the Dragon Darts against the Gengar. But it's fine. It's fine. And it looks like he's not Dynamaxing because I'm Dynamaxing first. But I still think that, like, let's see. Like, he wouldn't Dynamax because he wants to save his Scarf. So let's actually see if he's Scarfed. That's what we're working with here. I think he's Scarf Haxorus. So that's just what I'm looking at here. I'm respecting this guy quite a bit. All right, cool. He's not Scarf Haxorus, and I'll take that. And even if he was Sash Haxorus, that's why we set the rocks. So... Dragapult coming in, I really want to check this guy's items because his whole team just gives off such, a good bluff of, like Choice Specs Gengar, Choice Scarf Haxorus. There's probably a Sash on one of the starters back there. Togekiss is probably like leftovers. It's really easy for players that have played as long as me to be able to scout items based on situations. And what this guy's done is he's done a very, very good job of hiding his items. So there's the big Stealth Rocks tick on the Cinderace. Puts it definitely within range for this. We're new for a Max Whirlwind. We should be able to get a KO. Cinderace is going to be able to outspeed. It is going to be able to Dynamax this turn. But remember, guys, the big boost you get from Dynamaxing scales off your current health. So getting that huge Stealth Rocks tick, very, very muy importante right now. I still think we can KO it with the Max Wormwind, but I want to know what move he's actually using. Oh my gosh, that's like the first time I've seen Dynamax Cinderace. I didn't think he would just like power up like a Dragon Ball Z character. That's hilarious. So yeah, he's going to be faster than me. Going for a Steel one. I think that does that lower my defense? That could be very bad. I think I might actually switch out next turn. It gives him a defense boost. Ooh, that's very hard to deal with. Life Orb, you'll love to see it. So we're going to get an attack drop on this guy. I'm actually going to probably just hard switch out, right? I'm probably just going to hard switch out into my Hippowdon, I think, this turn. And then I'll be able to come in later once he's potentially done. Let me think about this. Let me look at some of these stats of these Pokemon. Because like right now, I'm at neutral, but like I'm going to stay in one more time. One more turn. As long as it doesn't crit me, I'm in a pretty good spot. I can just go for this one. This one should be able to get a KO here. He shouldn't be able to get it. I was talking about switching to Mammoth or Hippowdon and getting like, setting a Sandstorm back up. Letting him do Life Orb damage, and just playing a little bit bulky. But I actually just think, since he's getting all these defense boosts, and I got an attack drop, and since he's obviously a physical attacker, I should just be able to slam in the Ghost one. And that's the value of being a mixed sweeper, right? Mixed sweepers are highly underrated, because, most Pokemon can only do, like, one thing. They can, be a physical attacker and attack this, or they can be a special attacker and attack this, or they can be a physical wall like Ferrothorn, or they can be like a special wall, kind of like we're running Appleton today. But not many Pokemon can do both, and that's what I think is really, really good about this specific Dragapult. So our last game of the day is going to be going up against Maractus Corviknight, the Fighting Octopus, Mr. Rhyme, what is that, normal Psychic Pokemon, Indie, I don't know what it's called. If you guys know what it's called, let me know in the comments. And Diggersby, though, holy moly, what a cool team. I actually think I can get away with Appleton. I think Appleton is about to be absolutely popping off. Maractus is a problem. I can't Leech Seed it, so that's going to be an issue. But I do think that Appleton's really, really good. I think I'm going to lead with Corviknight, Appleton, right? Not Corviknight. I see the Corviknight. We're going to lead with Dragapult, Appleton, and then from there, he's going to try, like, how do we cover those weaknesses, right? Do we actually need to bring any fairies? I don't know if we should actually bring the Hatterene. I actually think we should bring the Hatterene this game. I think if there's one game that we can bring Hatterene, it's probably this one. Oh, man. I should probably bring that Hatterene. I'm looking at it. Like, I'm looking at it. Hatterene is busted here. Yeah, it's time. So, Dragapult, Hatterene, oh my gosh, it's time, and Appletun. We're about to be popping off. This is going to be a really, really fun game, I think. I don't know how much damage Appletun takes from like a Brave Bird from a Corviknight, but as long as he's not Dynamaxing it, I think I can probably live, because like you do get like the slight damage increase off the Dynamax on Brave Bird. And if I don't get one-shotted, I think I can actually grind him out. So let's actually see what their lead is. Hopefully it's not Corviknight. Mr. Rime. All right, so this is the baby Mr. Mime. This is actually Mr. Mime, right? This doesn't look like Mr. Rime. So this means he's an Eviolite, I think. And what type are you? You're just the Ice Psychic, right? All right, Ice Psychic. So I can go for the big fire attack if I wanted. I mean, I could just U-turn out. I think Flamethrower might be able to do it. I'm just going to U-turn out. I don't trust him. I do not trust this Mr. Mime. I'm going to U-turn out. I want to see how much damage this does. He's Scarfed! He's Scarfed! He tricked me! He tricked me! Good thing we were living, though. Good thing we were living. He's Scarfed, though! That's the only way he outspeeds. Yo, you're so tricky. Alright, I see you. And you know what? If you're going to use a Scarf... Chief... I'm going to show you what I'm working with right now. If you're stuck using Freeze Dry with your Scarf, it's Hatterene. I always pronounce this Pokemon. It's Hatterene, isn't it? We're going to pop that Trick Room, and then we're going to pop a Future Sight right in your face. And you can Freeze Dry me till the cows come home, but we're about to deal some big damage. We're going to set up a hazard of Future Sight. He's switching. He's saving it. That's actually a really good play. That Pokemon can deal big damage to my whole team. Corviknight, I don't like that. I'm going to have to Dynamax and Mystical Fire it right in the face. I think I'm going to have to Mystical Fire it. I think we can KO with Mystical Fire or boost it. We have a Life Orb boost. Look at this. So look at this coverage. Like, Dynamax? Max Fire? It's a 130? Oh, it's time. And note that Max Mindstorm is actually a little bit stronger than, the Psychic boosted one. So if I ever want to use, like, a bigger, stronger Max Mindstorm, Future Sight is that move. It was the same way with Z moves back in Ultra Sun and Moon. But yeah, Max Flare. We got our Trick Room up. This is one of the slowest Pokemon in the game. There's no way he's going to be underspeeding me. I mean, he might be able to get, like, a KO or something. Or, sorry, he might be able to, like, live this. But I don't think he can. I think he's probably gone, unless he's maxing. Please don't max. Look at this. Hatterene popping it off. Look at that. Extra thick. Don't max. Don't do it. Don't max. Oh, he's so good. Oh, my gosh. All right. Well, let's see who comes out on top. I mean, the only thing is, like, I don't stab this fire attack, right? It's a 130. But Corviknight's really, really thick. And I just don't know. I don't know if I can get away with this, you know? We'll see. It's super effective. If he's like full speed attack, I'll totally be able to KO him. But if he's not... Oh, please just go away. Oh my gosh, he's so bulky. Holy moly, that bulk. Extra thick. So I don't know if the Max Steel Strike is going to be... I don't know if I'm going to be able to live this one. We'll see. Because, like, I'm not bulky. I have health. But, like, that's it. Alright, cool. I live it. Corviknight's a slouch. Hatterene, extra thick. He gets a defense boost. Now I could go for another max. Is that leftovers? All right, cool. I kind of want to pop a. No, I have to go for this. I can't let him. I'm gonna go for a Max Flare. If he switches, he's losing his Dynamax Mon, and that's fine. And he still has that Mr. Rime back there. So like Hatterene is still in the driver's seat. He's going for a Max Guard because I thought about Future Sighting, guys. I thought about it. Oh, it wouldn't be Future Sight. It would have just been the Max whatever move. No, this is the right choice. I'm still getting used to the mechanic, guys. Believe it or not, I'm not perfect either. The only time I actually like play the game is when like I'm playing the game like right now. So let's see if he's actually going to switch. He might switch. Nope, he's not going to switch. He's going to follow that, and that's awesome. That totally works for me. There's still a couple turns left in my Trick Room. I think that even if it comes down to Mr. Mime versus my Appletun, I think Appletun might be able to grind him out. Maybe. I know he's going to be like freeze drawing my face, and it's 4 times super effective, but that's why we use Thick Fat. And that's why we're full HP specialty. I think my Appletun is a lot thicker than people are giving it credit for. Diggersby, though, okay. How many turns Trick Room do I have left? How many turns of the Trick Room are left? Should be 2, right? 1. This is the last Trick Room turn. I still gotta do it. I mean, I kind of want to pop this Future Sight and then come in with my Appletun. Is that the play? That'd probably just KO. if I just chill like that. Let me think about it. Do we Future Sight? Because I don't think Psychic KOs, but I got it. All right, we're going to Psychic here, and then we're going to send out our... We're not going to KO with Psychic, right? This should not KO. It might. Or we're Life Orb, right? It might KO. But, like, it shouldn't KO, right? That's a you know, standard amount of damage. He's going to EQ. We're then going to be able to bring in our Dragapult. Dragapult will KO this thing. And, you know, after that, we then have Appletun versus the almighty... Appletun versus the almighty Mr. Mime to decide who wins it all. That's the play. I think it's fine. Alright, here we go. And he shouldn't be able to do anything, right? I don't think they get Sucker Punch. It gets like Quick Attack. Let's go for the darts. Now let's see it. Dragon Dart's perfect. Alright, cool. It's totally fine. The good thing about having this thing on the board right now instead of having Appletun 2 is it forces him into, right into coming out with and locking himself, because we already know that he's Scarfed. That's the only way that you outspeed Dragapult, right? We know that he's Scarfed, and so it forced him to a move that KOs the Dragapult, but he doesn't know my last mon. Guys, remember our team preview says a bunch of different stuff. He might lock himself in like a Shadow Ball or something, thinking that we have Aegislash, right? And I would not have sent an Aegislash out to fight Diggersby, so he might lock himself in the Shadow Ball, and that's one of the reasons why we sent this thing out specifically. But let's see if he goes for Freeze Dry. And Freeze Dry. All right. Who's going to win? Is it going to be Appletun or Mr. Mime? I mean, nothing would prove my point other than, like, Appletun with Thick Fat is really, really good. More than, like, living versus Mr. Mime. I think we're going to live by, like, quite a bit. I think we're going to live quite a lot, actually. So let's see it. Place your bets. We're going to go for Apple Acid. As long as it doesn't freeze me, I think we're all good. Even if he does freeze me, I think I have a couple turns I might be able to live to thaw. How much damage we taking? That's right. Look at that damage! It's 4 times super effective! And Appletun's like, what's 4 times super effective? Freeze Dry? Never heard of it. Look how bulky this Pokemon is! Oh my gosh, yo. And that was this guy doesn't suck. It's not like you guys are probably like, his Team Babidoo is the Eevee trained. It's like, no, my Appletun is full HP, full Special D, with the Thick Fat ability. It's so good. Like, oh my gosh, Thick Fat Appletun is an absolute terror for teams that don't have, like, Mimikyu. So, I mean, this is one of the few times you actually see this Pokemon perform to its fullest potential, and, you know, I love to see it. I hope you guys love to see it. We're going to be going into our team review / breakdown. We're going to be going over all the EVs, all the items. There's going to be a paste bin for the team so you guys can use it for yourself, and hopefully you guys have enjoyed the battles today. Moving on to our team review section, you can see all of our moves, all of our items, as well as the team ID code, so you guys can use this for yourself. All of these Pokemon are above level 50, so if you guys want to use this on the Battle Tower, this works. If you want to use this in casual battles or even ranked battles, this works. This is a very, very fun team to use, and throughout the past couple days, I've shown a lot of these Pokemon. I showed the Dragapult, the Apollon, and the Hatterene a little bit yesterday, but, you know, Appletun's great. We've changed up our Gyarados moveset quite a bit, and Aegislash is a really cool Pokemon. We're going to run down the items real quick, though. You can see I'm using a Citrus Berry on my Appletun, and I'm not using Ripen. I have a Ripen Appletun. I plan on using it soon, and I know that's the way most people would like to play it. Ripen, for those of you guys who don't know, is the ability Appletun normally has. It's its base ability, and it says your berries have double effectiveness. So like a Citrus Berry restores 50% of your health, and then you can just use Recycle, and you restore Citrus Berries all the time. I decided to go with Thick Fat, and I would still use the Recycle to get my Citrus Berry back if I needed it, but, you know, Appletun just gets Recover. If Appletun didn't get Recover, I would definitely be using the Ripen, but I feel that since it just gets the move Recover, which is a very rare move, like most of the time you kind of see Roost or like other stuff, but just the straight Recover on a Dragon type, that's very rare. So I think you should actually play to those strengths and use Recover. This is what we in the biz like to call a sub-seeder. A substitute Leech Seeder is what Appletun is, but there's no sub. I'm using the Recover instead of the Recycle instead of the sub. I really thought about using substitute, but I thought about it and I was like, I think that Recycle could give me a little bit more value in certain situations. And, you know, so let's think about it. Like, let's talk about like Ferrothorn. I think Ferrothorn would like kill for Recycle. You know, even if it like, you know, that's a common subseeder, like Breloom. Breloom's like a common subseeder back in the day, and those Pokemon would kill for Recycle. Like they'd be like, Sub's old and busted, I'm gonna use Recycle. It's so good because it makes it so you can always make it so they can't like two-shot you. You're afforded the luxury of going for Leech Seeds and then the Apple Acids because they can never two-shot you because you can always proc your Citrus Berry, and it's super, super good to have that active at all times. After that, we're going to be going to Aegislash. The Aegislash we're holding leftovers. It has stance change. For those of you guys who don't know how Aegislash works and didn't really get to see it that much in this video, leave a comment. I can do my best to explain it, but for those who don't know, Aegislash has two forms, right? It has a defensive form and an offensive form. And in the defensive form, your defenses are super high and you can tank all these attacks and it's super good. So what happens is they like to hit you, right? You'll absorb all that damage, and then every single time you attack, you go into offensive stance, and then your defenses that were super good become your offensive stats. So right now we're using like a full HP special, the Aegislash, which means we're going to be a special sweeper Aegislash when we actually stance dance. That's what I always like to call it. I call it the stance dance. It's way cooler than stance change. Anyways, yeah, we're just doing big special attack damage. I know a lot of people like using physical Aegislash, but since I'm a VGC player, I'm a doubles player, specials Aegislash, in my opinion, is so underrated. And it's just really good. It does the same amount of things. It just, instead of playing like Swords Dance, Shadow Sneak, Fighting Attack, you know, Iron Head or something, we have this set, which I like a lot more because we're afforded the luxury of having the substitute. And for those guys who know, the way you go back into defensive stance is by using King Shield. King Shield pretty much is the only way to go back in a defensive stance. So if you get taunted, you probably should just switch because they're going to be stuck in offensive stance. Aegislash is a very, very cool Pokemon. It did receive a slight nerf going into, you know, Sword and Shield, but I do think that it is a very, very good Pokemon. And everyone should still be kind of using Aegislash. Like, if you're not using Aegislash, you're sleeping, in my opinion, because this Pokemon's very good. Speaking about Pokemon, they're also very good. We changed up our Gyarados set. We still have Intimidate, but we're using a Lumberry now. So if people want to go for like Will-O-Wisps or Toxics, we can Lumberry those in the face, set up a Dragon Dance, and just one-shot everything. And I was starting to see that I was starting to have too much of a problem with Rotom. All Rotoms. Like Rotom Heat, we can Waterfall that one. That one's not that big. And we can also switch it on the Will-O-Wisp because we have a Lumberry now. But Rotom Wash, we added Power Whip for coverage, and I decided to keep the Ice Fang over the Crunch. Because I can still Ice Fang a Dragapult, just how I would Crunch a Dragapult, you know, and I can also Ice Fang a Rotom Grass and like a Rillaboom and all those other common grass types that you see. So I can also Ice Fang an Appleton, you know. So Ice Fang's, I think, really good coverage. Being able to set double different types of weather is actually very underrated, and, you know, like I was talking about in previous videos, having Gyarados have Ice Fang go for the max Hailstorm, it breaks Pokemon sashes, and it's actually really, really good. There's a lot of weather teams running around right now, and I know I have my Hippowdon, but like, let's say, you know, I want to be able to reset to something. Like, let's say I'm fighting Rain, right? I don't want the Rain active, and even if I'm using my Gyarados, I'd much rather have the Hail active. So I do think that the Ice Fang is still very, very good. There are still a ton of dragons here, and, you know, if my two stabs are, or if my two big moves like Waterfall and Power Whip, those are grass attacks, if I want to KO something like a Haxorus, or even like a Flygon or something, I'm going to need that Ice Fang. So I think this is a better way to run Gyarados. We're on full speed, full attack on an Adamant set. And I do think it's a very, very fun Gyarados set. You guys should try it out for yourself. Power Whip is highly underrated. After that, we have Hatterene. Hatterene is super cool. Finally got a chance to do something. One of my favorite Pokemon. Magic bounces there in case we want to bounce back hazards like Stealth Rocks or even Taunts or Toxics. It bounces back all status moves, and it's very, very underrated. We set up a Trick Room. We didn't get to use Future Sight, but we showed off the power of Mystical Fire, and we showed off just how much damage this Pokemon can really deal. It soaked a lot of damage, it dealt a lot of damage, and I cannot wait to use it. And I actually plan on a VGC team using this Pokemon very soon because it gets a couple other moves that aren't being shown here that I really want to show you guys. But yeah, Hatterene, very, very good Pokemon, and I finally learned how to pronounce its name, so that's actually pretty good. Actually, I learned how to announce its name from someone in the comments. Left a comment saying, bro, you suck at pronunciations. This is how you pronounce this. And you guys can always do that. If I'm pronouncing something incorrect, it's because I'm reading it too fast. It's because I talk too fast. It's because I have a lot of stuff to go over. So if I'm slacking on mispronouncing something, always feel free to let me know. Something else I'm going to let you guys know is Hippowdon is up next. We have the same Hippowdon set from yesterday. Slack Off, Stealth Rock, Rock Tomb, and Earthquake. Really, really good Rock Tomb there. Able to reset the weather and apply speed control if we need it. After that, Rocky Helmet's really, really good. I feel that this team, yeah, I want to use Appleton today, but Aegislash can lose the Mimikyu. It's about a 50-50 matchup. Like, you go into it, and if they don't have a Swords Dance, you might win. But even if they do have a Swords Dance up, you're gonna lose, and you're gonna have to like King Shield bait them into going for like Shadow Claws, and it's not amazing. Maybe it's even a 60-40 in the Mimikyu player's favor. So like on average, our team's relatively weak to Mimikyu. So I was like, I kind of need the full HP defense Impish Hippowdon to come back and just wall out those Mimikyus. Hippowdon's always really good. It's probably my favorite weather setter for Battle Spot singles. Actually, I'll change that. It's not my favorite. It's really lame. Hippowdon's lame. If you want to win games and play lame, play this Pokemon. I like all the other weather setters better, but I also like winning, so that's why we're using it. Hippowdon's pretty cool, though. Also, it provides really, really good typing, right? It's covering up for Gyarados' big weakness to Electric. And sure, it's adding a third Ice-type weakness to the team, but like we have the Aegislash would just come in. Like, Aegislash would love to switch in on an Ice Beam, get those leftovers procs, and then from there, if somebody's using Ice Beam and stab an Ice Beam, I'll be slamming in those Flash Cannons. So, like, Aegislash just soaks all those Ice types up. Even Hatterene can soak a lot of Ice type attacks. So after that, we have the Dragapult set. I really want to drive home just how good this Dragapult set is. It is full investment in attack and special attacks. That's why there's 2 physicals and 2 special attacks. And then it has the last 4 points in HP, which means you're still outspeeding base 96s once you lose your Scarf if you want to Dynamax. So like, let's say I Flamethrowered a Ferrothorn and I KO'd it. And then let's say my opponent was to send out, let's say they were to send out a Mimikyu that was already busted or something like that. And I wanted to Shadow Ball said Mimikyu. I would be able to Dynamax, lose the effect of my Scarf, because you lose the effect of your choice items when you're Dynamaxed, and then I would be able to click the Shadow Ball, but I still outspeed the Mimikyu by 1 point because those 4 EVs in speed. So you need those 4 EVs in speed. This Pokemon, the only thing that really beats this Pokemon is actual, like, Scarfed Dragapults that are, like, full attack speed or full special attack speed. So, like, other Scarf Dragapults, like that's, or other really niche Scarf users. But this thing beats like all the other Pokemon. Like, this thing beats regular Dragapults, outspeeds them. Like, just having those 4 points in speed and throwing a Scarf on there, you're still outspeeding literally any Pokemon that's not Scarfed. So as long as you're fighting another Scarf Pokemon, this Pokemon can be very, very good. This is one of the best coverage Pokemon in the game. It has Dragon, it has Bug, it has Fire, it has Shadow Ball, and all those moves go very well together. The U-turn, I think the Befuddle, whatever the Bug Max move, I think it lowers their attack. No, that's not what it does. The Wormwind lowers their attack, the Shadow Ball lowers their defense, the U-turn lowers their special attack, and the Fire one sets a weather. Like, that's very, very good coverage in Maxmon. This is the Pokemon. This or Gyarados are the 2 that you want to go max in with every single time. And I think almost every single team, like, you can expect me to almost run this Dragapult in every single team for the next couple months, because I just think it's that good. It has just amazing stats, and you're not going to find a Pokemon that can do more for how much you don't have to commit to having in your team. Like, it just has really good coverage. You can just splash it. No one's going to see a Dragapult in the team and be like, oh, why is that there? No one's going to say that, ever. Like, Dragapult's always, they're always like, fuck, it's Dragapult. It's so good, right? So, really, really good Pokemon. Really, really good set if you guys are looking for sets. And all of these sets, there is a code for this team. It's called a paste, and it is in the second line of the description. You guys can check it out. If you guys are just interested in seeing my EV spreads and everything in a little bit more depth, you guys can copy it. You can take it onto Pokemon Showdown. You can take it and, copy it and use all these Pokemon in your games. Or, you can use the rental code that you can actually see in the stream right now, or in the video. And you can take this team on ranked, and you can, use that Pokepaste as a reference, so you know all of your stats. So you have every single bit of info required to climb the ladder. So that is a general breakdown. We're just going to go into a little bit more of a team review. I always talk about how I want to go into like a team review section after the team review section, because I really want to break down the EVs and break down what the abilities do in a little bit more detail. And I feel it really does help you guys, because you guys get to see like on screen in this game versus like Sun and Moon, you get to see where it says like, this is what Thick Fat does, this is what Stance Change does, this is what Leftovers does. It says what all the items do, and you get like a much better idea of my natures from there. You get a better idea of my EV spreads. So we're gonna be going on into that. Hopefully you guys all like that part. I know that I've actually got a lot of comments saying people like it, so that's why we're going to keep doing it. Alright, so the very first Pokemon we're looking at is Appletun here. Did you see its eyes? Look at its eyes. I know a lot of you guys thought those were ears. Those are its eyes. Look at that, look how cool that thing is. Like, what a cool Pokemon. You absolutely love to see how cool this Pokemon is. I think this Pokemon has a ton of, like, just swagger all around it. Like I said, we're holding a Citrus Berry. It restores 25% of your health once you're lower than 50%. So if someone's going for like a Dragon Darts against you, which is very common against an Appletun, you're actually going to be able to eat that Dragon Darts like an absolute champion and reply back with something like a Leech Seed and just completely wall them out if you want to, because it's very, very good. I think Citrus Berry is very good on here. I would also think that Leftovers could be good here because we are using a Thick Fat Appletun. So the Pokemon is protected by a layer of Thick Fat, which has the damage taken from fire and ice moves. So because we're taking neutral damage from fire, because we are a grass dragon, it makes so we actually have like a resistance to fire. It's actually really, really good. That's not something you think of when you actually look at Appletun because it's green. You think it's like, oh, fire attacks, yeah. And it's like, oh, fire attacks, not against the Thick Fat one. It's actually very thick. You get it? Thick fat. And anyway, same thing goes for ice type attacks. Like people are like, oh yeah, it's a dragon, ice attacks. And yeah, they are super effective. They're actually 4 times super effective. But, you know, if you half the damage from fire and ice attacks, the ice attacks are only 2 times super effective. And if they're only 2 times super effective, if our EV spread is what it is, and it's full HP Special D, the only type of ice attacks that's going to be doing any damage is Darmanitan. And Darmanitan is definitely deal-withable for our whole team. Like, Darmanitan is a problem. We have to go well out of our way to check Darmanitan, but we do have very significant options to deal with Darmanitan, and we have full HP Special D, things coming in like Draco Meteors, you know, Ice Beams, Blizzards, and what have you. They just don't really do that much damage, and we're able to live, proc our Citrus Berry, go back up to 70 or 80%. From there, we like to set a Leech Seed. Leech Seed is a really cool move that seeds planted on the target. It steals some HP from the target every turn, so it's going to take 1/8 of their health every single turn. It takes it from them and puts it on you, and the higher their health stat is, the more health you restore. So it's actually very, very cool. I think Appletun's very, very good. You can see our nature is also Sassy nature, so we want to be as slow as possible with this thing. We're reducing speed over something like reducing attack. Like we could have been a Calm nature, because I really wanted to be EV trained in special defense. But I think that Sassy's a little bit better just because you want to be as slow as possible to really capitalize on this team's potential for Trick Room. And also note that we do have the max Dynamax level for when you use this in your own games. Here's the Recycle like I was talking about if you guys want a little bit more of a refresher course. These recycles its held items that have been used in the battle so it can be used again. And so another really cool thing to note is, like, let's say they hit me down to like 10%, right? And I activate my Citrus Berry. If I use Recycle that turn, and I get my Citrus Berry back, if I'm still below 50%, it will use it right there. So it's actually a 60% boost. So in some situations, Recycle is even better than Recover if you're at lower than 25% when you actually use the Recycle. It's really, really good. When you're lower than 25%, and you are procking your berry that turn. So like even if I'm at 20, I'll go up to like 45%, and then I'll recycle, get my berry back, and I'll use it again. So it's actually really, really cool tech to use recycle over something like substitute. Like I ran a lot of the numbers, and I was like, I'm really torn between recycle and sub. I know some people also would like Dragon Pulse. You don't need Dragon Pulse. You're not getting any significant KOs. Like even against like a Dragapult or a Haxorus, you're not getting KOs on those Pokemon, even if you have Dragon Pulse. And, you know, for some people like, but I don't want to do nothing against grass types. But, like, talk about what grass types are there. Like, Ferrothorn? You're going to Dragon Pulse a Ferrothorn? This Pokemon doesn't get any fire attacks. So I really just figured we might as well just have the Appletun do, like, actually excel at what it does, which is just wall those big Pokemon. And if we have to have a very bad matchup, an unwinnable matchup versus grass types, we can then supplement the team with Pokemon that pick apart the grass types. And that's exactly what we did. So going to the next Pokemon, you can see our next Pokemon is going to be Aegislash here. We are holding Leftovers on Aegislash. I wanted to originally hold these items on the Appletun, but I figured since Aegislash uses a really cool move called King Shield, which is pretty much a protect that lets you switch your stance change, and it also lowers the attack stat of any opponent that makes direct contact. So if they're using like a Fire Punch, they'll get a -2 attack drop. But if they're using like an Earthquake, that doesn't make contact. But you still get to avoid the damage because it protects you from damage. So since we're going to be using Protect like every other turn anyways, I figured it's probably a pretty good idea to use Leftovers. Leftovers go very well in conjunction with the King Shield and the Substitute. Being able to restore that health is actually very, very valuable. So Aegislash, here's the stance change. This Pokemon changes its form to Blade form when it uses an attack move, and changes its shield form when it uses King Shield. Very, very easy to see. You see, we're fully EV trained in HP and Special D, just extra thick. Gotta go all in on that special. And the reason why we're actually afforded the luxury of going with so many Pokemon that have such special defense bulk is because we're mitigating it with like an Intimidate Gyarados. We have a full HP defense Hippowdon. We have a perfect blend of like offense and defense with this team. Great defensive typing all around. Think of the other Pokemon on this team like Hatterene. That Pokemon is weak to like you know, like Ghost, but it's also weak against like Poison and Steel. Like Aegislash comes in, Poison, Steel. Sure, it shares that Ghost weakness, but you know, like what Ghost type really does give Aegislash issues other than Mimikyu? And like I just said, you can beat Mimikyu. Like Gengar versus Aegislash, like Aegislash wins that, right? You just soak their Shadow Ball. It does like 60 or 70%, and you just one-shot them back with a Shadow Ball. You get to take a leftovers. Next turn, you King Shield. You got a second take a leftovers. You're at 50-60%. You can switch out, come back in, King Shield again next, like the turn after that, you're at 70-80% now. Like Aegislash, so underrated. I highly recommend this Pokemon, but it is a very hard one to use. The rest of our moves, we have Substitute, creates that 25% sub, makes it, the reason we're using this is basically so they can't Leech Seed us, basically so they can't use Will-O-Wisp on us, because you guys cannot use those status moves on Pokemon that have subs up. King Shield, be able to switch it up. We got Flash Cannon. This was a pain TR to get. This took me like a long time to get today. I had to like do a bunch of max raids to get Flash Cannon. That was a pain. And then Shadow Ball. So reason to special Aegislash. I know a lot of people like physical Aegislash, but I'm more of a fan of special Aegislash because I'm a VGC player. I think it's very, very good. So after that, next Pokemon up on the list, we have Gyarados. Again, we've talked a lot about Gyarados. I'm going to very briefly go over it. We're using a Lum Berry because there's such an abundance of Toxic and Will-O-Wisp users, and even like Thunder Wave and Nuzzle users on the ladder right now. A lot of the time, they're going to see the Gyarados, they're like, okay, cool, he's going to Dragon Dance. I have to neuter that thing with a status move, and I can just know that they're going to do that, right? Go for a Dragon Dance in their face, and then I outspeed them so they can't do it again next turn, and I'm just going to Dynamax and just one-shot all their stuff, and it's so good. Lum Berry is very underrated, and it can recover from any status condition during battle. After that, we're using our full Dynamax when we get the Adamant Gyarados, full speed, full attack. You'll love to see it. This Pokemon is so good. Intimidate also like lowers their attack. It's like really, really good. It's a great Pokemon to come in with if you're U-turning. Like if I lead Dragapult, I can then lead Dragapult, scout the situation, go for my Scarf U-turn, come in with Gyarados, get an Intimidate on their physical attacker that was originally threatening my Dragapult, set up a Dragon Dance and win the game. Very, very simple. I know a lot of people like Moxie, but I'm still always going to be a fan of Intimidate. After that, we have Dragon Dance. We have Ice Fang for weather control. We have the Power Whip. So this is going to be going into max overgrowth. So this is pretty much just here for Rotom, Wash, and other big like water types. Like water types can sometimes give us a big problem. Like against like Rain. I fought against I fought against a Dreadnought the other day, and he was like, he thought he was pretty cute. He's like, oh man, Gyarados, I'm gonna totally Stone Edge that thing, and I was like, I don't know about that one, Chief. Power Whip, 120 base, and if I Dynamax, it goes up to 130, and I can't miss, so I don't have to go for the 85% chance to hit. So really, really cool. It's a TR that Gyarados gets in this game that's never got before, adding additional coverage to Gyarados that's never actually had. So the Gyarados meta is evolving, and I'm trying my best to, ride that wave. But we're going to look at the next Pokemon. We're going to look at Hatterene. We looked at this Pokemon yesterday, and I'm really happy that it actually did something today. I think the Life Orb is a really, really important item on this Pokemon. If you were looking at the games we played today, I think I was fighting Corviknight, and I was able to two-shot the Corviknight with a Mystical Fire that was a 130 base move, and the Life Orb, for those of you guys who don't know, Life Orb is one of the best items in the game, especially if you're using it on a Pokemon that likes the Dynamax, because Life Orb isn't like Choice Band. Like first of all, Choice items don't work when you're Dynamax, but Choice Band multiplies, or Choice Specs, or Choice Scarf, multiply your base stat by 1.5, but the Life Orb multiplies the move's base by 1.3. So it's a lower boost, but it's on a much bigger, multiplier. It's actually really important to use strong moves. You'd be really surprised how important that is. And so if all your moves are 130, 140 base moves, and you're giving them a 1.3 boost on top of that, they're dealing 30, sometimes 20 to 30% more damage than they would be doing without the Life Orb. The stronger your moves are, the better it is to use the Life Orb over a Choice Band. And so Life Orb boosting off of max overdrives and max Mindstorms, it's very, very good. We're using a full HP special attack Hatterene with Magic Bounce, so they can't, pretty much our opponents can't try and wall us, and that's one thing that makes our team really good, because our team kind of baits them into bringing all their sweepers. If they're bringing all their sweepers, we can then bring our walls and wall them, so that's kind of how our team likes to be played. We finally set Trick Room. Trick Room reduces the speed of all Pokemon for 5 turns, so it looks like our, speed reduced nature Hatterene with 0 IVs in speed is actually always able to underspeed, even underspeeds Ferrothorn, and is able to go for big damaging moves like Mystical Fire. Very, very strong. This is a very expensive TM. I think it's 100,000 Poké Dollars. Very expensive, but I was able to pick it up. Hatterene uses Mystical Fire, uses Psychic, and Future Sight. I haven't got a chance to use Future Sight yet, But it's really, really good if you use Trick Room. And then what's usually happens is when you use Trick Room, they try to switch away or like protect or do something to kind of wait out your Trick Room. And if you can read that and pop a Future Sight, you're pretty much layering up like a hazard, right? Future Sight, 2 turns after the move is huge, a hunk of psychic energy attacks the target. So like, let's say, I set up Trick Room, I Future Sight on their protector switch, I KO the thing they switch to the turn after that. The next turn after that, whatever's in on the board is going to take that huge damage from Future Sight attack. And the way Future Sight's calculated, it actually deals damage to the thing that it's hitting, not the thing that it was originally used against. So that's something that a lot of people, forget. And so, like, let's say, I casted the Future Sight on a Tyranitar. Like, when I used the Future Sight, it was against a Tyranitar. But then, like, Tyranitar goes away, and they bring in a Machamp. Machamp's going to get one-shotted by Future Sight when it hits in 2 turns. And that's a really, really cool way to see this Pokemon's mechanic work. So Hatterene, very, very underrated. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to use as Pokemon as the meta develops. And last but not least, we still have 2 Pokemon. But we have Hippowdon. Hippowdon's just the golden oldie. This is Pokemon that if you want one Pokemon that just kind of win you matchups against like Mimikyu, just throw the Hippowdon on your team. Ragamuff's really, really good at dealing percent damage back to moves that make target. So all Mimikyu's moves make target. Shadow Sneak, Shadow Claw, Play Rough. They don't make contact when you're in the max mode, but even if you're in the max mode, just use Slack Off until you're back at full. It's very, very strong. After we're going to look at our EV spread, you can see we're full HP defense. And we are full Dynamax level, and this is actually a pretty good Pokemon, the Dynamax level too. It lets you outlive pretty much anything. Like, you're just gonna live through pretty much anything, as long as you're full health when you decide to go Dynamax. You're just gonna be able to wall them out. So very, very cool. And when you are Dynamax, you can go for Rock Tomb to reset your weather if they do change it away from you. And since you're slower than most things, like let's say, I don't know if it was today or a previous video, someone led like Darmanitan and I led Hippowdon, and so I expected them to max, and I expected them to go for the max Hailstorm to do big damage, and so I maxed going for Rock Tomb because I'm slower, right? So the max Rockfall will be able to reset that weather back in my favor every single time, and also it just gives me that huge health boost. It was like a win-win situation for me using a Hippowdon. Also, like Earthquake's generally good stab, increases, I believe, your Special D, which I think is a very unique mechanic. Like, ground types aren't historically known for their big special defense stat, and so the max Earthquake restores your Special D. It's very, very good. Another good thing about Hippowdon is it sets weather, and I think every team should have like some sort of weather setter, just because weather is so prevalent. It's on pretty much every other team you fight has some sort of weather control. So being able to control it yourself, especially using one that can break Focus Sashes, and Pokemon that can use Stealth Rock and deal percent damage with Rocky Helmet. Very, very good Pokemon. It's boring to play, I know, but it's very, very good in the current meta. And last but not least, we have the Scarf Dragapult. There's the Choice Scarf. And item to be held by a Pokemon, this Curious Scarf boosts the speed by 1.5, but only allows the use of one move. And remember, guys, choice items, the effects of them are taken away when you're in Dynamax mode. So it's very, very good. The way it works is you can see our EV spreads. Full attack, full special attack. We're not going any points more than 4 in speed. So 252 in special attack, 252 in attack, and then 4 in speed. And you need that 4. I've drove this home so many times. If you don't put that 4, Mimikyu is going to be speed tying you. You have just enough speed to KO that Mimikyu. I think TPCI, I think the Pokemon Company did that on purpose. Like with its crazy, ridiculous speed stat. I bet you they gave it like 3 more base speed just so you can do exactly what I'm doing. But you have full Dynamax level, great Pokemon for Dynamaxing, and Clear Rowdy makes it so prevents other Pokemon's moves or abilities from lowering this Pokemon's stats. So Intimidate, Icy Winds, Rock Tombs. They're not going to be able to lower our stats, which is very, very good. That's why this Pokemon's busted, by the way. Clear Body is by far and away the best ability on this Pokemon, especially if you're using a physical one, which, we're using a Mix Sweeper one. Very, very good. So we have 2 big moves. This is probably my favorite lead in the game right now, because we can always just analyze a situation, and as long as we're not fighting against a Scarf user as the lead, we can just U-turn out and then go into any of our walls. We can U-turn, like if they lead Hippowdon, right? We can U-turn into them, go into our Hatterene, and if they Stealth Rocks us, we're bouncing back the Stealth Rocks with Magic Bounce, and then Hatterene just absolutely checks that Hippowdon. Like, what a cool counter way to play against a lead that would normally give us a lot of trouble. Dragon Darts, also very good. Be able to hit twice. Note that we don't use Dragon Rush anymore. We use Dragon Darts. And we have Flamethrower and Shadow Ball. So, like, this is really good coverage. This is good coverage. And one cool thing about this Pokemon is if I show either the Dragon Darts or the U-turn or the Flamethrower or the Shadow Ball, they think, okay, cool, he's physical. Okay, cool, he's special. I'm going to use my physical or special walls respectively next time I have to fight this thing, and then I'm going to wall it out. That's not how this works. We have full EV spread in both stats. So like this Pokemon, you're not going to understand it when you're first using it, but you're going to start to see you're getting a lot of wins with it. You're going to start to see like, wow, this Pokemon just wins me all the games, and you're not going to really understand why. But the reason is like your opponents, you're totally like bluffing the heck out of them. People have been conditioned in Pokemon to think that like Pokemon can only do one thing, like a Gengar, right? Imagine if a Gengar was able just to like, instead of using like Shadow Ball or Sludge Bomb, instead like a Gengar, imagine if a Gengar showed like Shadow Ball, right? And then like it just started one-shotting all your things with like Ice Punch. Like that can't happen. Like Gengar's attack stat will not let that happen. Dragapult's attack stat, on the other hand, totally lets that happen. Dragapult has a 120 base attack and a 100 base special attack, which means we have by far and away enough stats in offense, in both offenses, to just one-shot everything through the use of super effective moves. So really, really cool Pokemon. It's going to win you so many games. Please check out the sets as well as all of the sets. There's a rental code. There's a pay spin. Use all these to their heart's content. Even if you don't want to use my exact team, go check out the pay spin, take just the Dragapult, and then start using it in your own teams. I mean, it'd be cool if you guys gave me credit. That'd be awesome. But yeah, like try experimenting, try making this team better. I really have had so much fun making these videos, and the amount of feedback I've gotten from you guys saying you guys have been using my teams. You guys like using my teams to even play in like the Battle Tower, play with your friends, or play in tournaments. Like, let me know how you guys have been using my teams. I really enjoy hearing all that stuff. But other than that, guys, thank you for watching. We're going to be playing a ton of stuff this week. I have so many cool things planned. We're getting back into doubles this week. We might also, again, question of the day, we might be making a video talking about the Galar Beginnings tournament that's coming up in a couple weeks. I want you guys to be prepared for that, because I definitely think all of us as a community here can do very well in that tournament if we prepare correctly and analyze the correct threats. So let me know if you guys want me to make a video on that. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Peace out.